Less than 24 hours to go before the polls open. We'll have more on how Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump are spending the day.
Election Day is tomorrow, and Democratic candidates are making their way around the state. Coming up, we'll tell you what they're doing for the last day of campaigning.
Coming up, Senator Rand Paul kicks off his busy day with a stop right here in Lexington.
This is WKYT News at Noon.
And welcome to WKYT News at Noon. I'm Barbara Bailey.
And I'm Bill Bryant, and we're glad you're with us. Just one day to go before Americans head to the polls. The presidential candidates are making their final race across the country.
And by tomorrow, the two campaigns will be at their New York headquarters to watch the results. Jamie Yukas has the latest campaign news as part of our top story team coverage at noon.
It is the final day of campaigning, and Hillary Clinton is bringing out some big names.
We're on a good track.
The president and first lady will join Clinton and her family in Philadelphia today. Donald Trump will hold a rally in Scranton as Pennsylvania remains in the campaign crosshairs. The Dow surged more than 200 points at the opening bell this morning, following FBI Director James Comey's announcement to Congress on Sunday that the Bureau will not recommend charges related to Clinton's use of a private email server after its review of newly discovered emails.
We're grateful that this matter is resolved now. We found it very puzzling, as you know, when Director Comey first brought this up a week ago.
Donald Trump raged against the FBI's decision.
With what's happening with our justice, our country is a laughingstock. All over the world, they're laughing.
The Republican nominee plans to visit 5 critical states today, beginning in Florida, where the latest CBS News Battleground Tracker poll shows the candidates in a dead heat, each with 45% of the vote.
Trump plans to continue his sprint through the battleground states even as voters are showing up to the polls on Tuesday. Then both candidates will be back here in New York at their headquarters as the results roll in.
Overall, the general election matchup nationally shows Clinton with a 4-point lead, 45% to 41% for Trump. Jamie Yukas, CBS News, New York.
Now, it's not just the presidential candidates on a breakneck schedule. The VP candidates are also crisscrossing the country.
The candidates were here in the Commonwealth earlier in the year. During the campaign, Donald Trump has made several trips to Kentucky. His first stop was back in March. It was at a rally in Louisville where a woman says she was pushed around and subjected to sexist slurs. 3 men were charged in that case. Trump returned to Louisville in May for the NRA's annual convention. His only stop in Lexington was in July, just a week before he would go on to become the Republican Party's presidential nominee. That was for a fundraiser. Hillary Clinton made several stops in Kentucky this year as well, all of them in the days leading up to Kentucky's May primary. Her husband, Bill, who carried Kentucky twice in his presidential races, also campaigned in Kentucky. Hillary Clinton narrowly won the May primary in Kentucky over Senator Bernie Sanders.
Well, of course, in any presidential race, it's all about the Electoral College. Trump and Clinton are in a race to get 270 electoral votes, or an absolute majority. Kentucky has 8 votes up for grabs. In the general election, all but 2 states are winner-take-all, the exceptions Maine and Nebraska.
And, of course, the presidential race is not the only thing on the ballot tomorrow.
Locally, Democrat Lexington Mayor Jim Gray is challenging incumbent Republican Senator Rand Paul. And Democrat Nancy Jo Kemper is running against Republican U.S. Representative Andy Barr for his 6th district seat.
And now, with less than 24 hours until the polls open, all of the candidates are busy out there campaigning today.
WKYT's Mike Byer is following the Republican campaign trail. He continues our top story team coverage. Mike?
The polls open in less than 24 hours, which is hard to believe, and Senator Rand Paul is staying busy. He's making many stops today throughout the state. His first one was this morning right here at the Aviation Museum of Kentucky.
There's a clear contrast in vision between them and us. We want small constitutional government that defends the country. Its primary priority above all other priorities is to defend the country.
Senator Paul arrived at Bluegrass Airport with his wife shortly before 9 this morning. The couple walking into a packed house inside the museum. Paul didn't take much time before attacking the Clinton campaign.
The Clinton Foundation is nothing more than a fencing operation for laundering money from foreign countries that they use for their own personal benefit.
Fellow Republican Andy Barr was also at this morning's rally. Barr talked about his main priorities heading into Election Day.
We know we've got to fix our national debt problem. We've got to get our economy going again. We've got to make sure we rebuild our national security to keep the American people safe.
Now, if you're planning to vote tomorrow but don't know where to cast your ballot, we have all the information you need on WKYT.com. In Lexington, Mike Byer, WKYT.
Mike, thank you. Now, Paul will also be making stops in Louisville and Elizabethtown before ending the day in his hometown of Bowling Green.
And while the Republicans are defending their seats, their Democratic challengers are making a last push for votes across the Commonwealth. WKYT's Lauren Miner continues our top story team coverage now with more on the Democrats out there on the campaign trail.
With Election Day being tomorrow, Democratic candidates are out right now making their stops throughout the state. A little over an hour ago, Democratic nominee Nancy Jo Kemper met here with volunteers at the Democratic headquarters. Kemper, along with volunteers, will hit the streets going door to door throughout Lexington today.
This is our district. These are our people. These are our fellow citizens, and that's what I want people to see when I'm out knocking door to door.
Lexington Mayor and U.S. Senate candidate Jim Gray started at 7 this morning and will be making stops throughout the state until around 7 this evening. From Pikeville to Paducah, Gray is making a final push to share his record of job creation and message on bringing new opportunities to Kentucky. Gray is joined today by former Governor Steve Beshear and Lexington City Councilman Bill Farmer. Just a few hours ago, Gray stopped in Pikeville to speak.
I'm here to serve the people of Kentucky, to serve the people of Eastern Kentucky, create jobs. That's my purpose. I will not be running for president. I will be here working for the people of Eastern Kentucky to find jobs and opportunity. That's what I'm here for.
Gray's last stop this evening will be at the Fifth Third Pavilion for the hometown rally at 7 p.m. Kemper says she will also be in attendance. Reporting in Lexington, Lauren Miner, WKYT.
Lauren, thank you. And Gray is currently in Paducah campaigning, and he plans on making 3 more stops before arriving for an evening event in Lexington.
Now, are you wondering what to expect at the polls tomorrow? Secretary of State Allison Lundergan Grimes says she's expecting voter turnout here in Kentucky to be around 60%. Of course, she says she's hoping we'll surpass that estimation, and all 3.3 million registered voters in the state will get to the polls on Election Day.
So we encourage everybody, visit govotekentucky.com, know where you go vote, bring either your driver's license, social security card, or credit card, or government issued ID. Any other ID that has both a picture and a signature will all suffice here in Kentucky. Unless you're known by your precinct election officer, then you don't have to show any ID at all.
Polls will be open from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. tomorrow. And for all you social media fans out there, good news. It is now legal to take selfies while you vote in Kentucky. In fact, the secretary says if it helps promote getting people out to vote, she's all for it. So now you know, you can do it.
Take your picture as you vote, I guess, right?
That's right. WKYT is the place for the most comprehensive election coverage.
It, of course, starts tomorrow morning before the polls open on our newscasts. So that, of course, at 6 o'clock, the polls will be opening. We'll continue with special election coverage throughout the day as we watch the trends. And we'll be here when the polls close at 6 p.m., keeping tabs on all of the races as those numbers come in. We'll have interactive results on WKYT.com. Tomorrow's a day for a possible change, and not necessarily at the polls.
That's right. In the weather, a big front is going to roll into the area, bringing a drop in temperatures. WKYT meteorologist Micah Harris is live in our First Alert Weather Center now. What can we expect, Micah?
Well, it looks like most of the effects of that front will come after you head out to the polls. So it's going to be deep into the evening, off into the nighttime hours. Won't really affect us that much. It's going to be mainly when a lot of us are inside. I want you to look outside very closely. You kind of see a haze, especially look down toward London. You can see it here in Lexington, and Barb and I were talking earlier that we just didn't put 2 and 2 together. We walked outside early this morning. You could smell some smoke, but this is actually smoke, what you're seeing across the area. And if you're feeling it, if you got a headache, and you think it's your sinuses, or if you're kind of feeling it in your chest, that is the smoke from the wildfires down towards southeastern Kentucky. You got to remember, last week and this weekend, winds were out of the north and northwest. It was pushing it off into Tennessee, but now they're out of the south and southeast, so it's funneling all that smoke northbound. That's why you're seeing that haze, and that's why you smell it outside. We can smell it here at WKYT. 70 degrees the rest of the afternoon, a nice nice looking day in store. It feels good too. What about tomorrow? When does that rain arrive? I'm going to get into that coming up in a few minutes.
Okay, thank you very much. And parts of Kentucky are in desperate need of rain right now as those crews are continuing to battle wildfires, especially throughout eastern Kentucky.
Crews are now fighting at least 20 different fires spreading over 11,000 acres this afternoon. 5 fires were contained over the weekend, but a new one popped up Friday in Breathitt County. The biggest fires continue to be in Harlan and Letcher counties, as well as Pike County. The National Guard will continue dropping water over smaller fires today to ensure that they don't grow.
We're continuing to follow up on a terrible story out of eastern Kentucky. An 11-year-old Boy Scout died while camping with his troop. It happened near Chimney Top Rock, a popular spot to camp in the Red River Gorge in Wolfe County. Jack Rose was one of 20 scouts camping when a dead tree fell and landed on his tent with him inside. The tree hit Jack in the head, killing him instantly.
Officials with Boy Scouts of America released a statement after Jack's death. They say, quote, "We will do all we can to support the family of this young man. We'll be offering grief counseling to our members and volunteers." Now, Jack was part of Troop 30 out of Louisville. There's a new push for Lexington police to take a different look at how they're dealing with prostitution in the city. Police are treating the prostitutes as victims and instead focusing on getting the Johns and pimps. Police say if the Johns and pimps are out of the picture, a prostitute will be more likely to get help. 90% of the prostitutes in Lexington are addicted to drugs. WKYT's investigations team met one woman trying to get out of her life as a prostitute.
How does it work? You just keep saying like $20. Is that typically what you get?
Depends on pretty much what you do. You can make more, but the least you'll make is $20.
How much does heroin cost?
The least you can usually get is $20.
She told WKYT's Miranda Combs during the interview she was going to get help. Find out what happened on WKYT at 6.
Well, tomorrow the nation will cast votes for president, but today some Lexington elementary school students got to submit their ballots. We'll tell you who was on the ballot coming up on WKYT News at noon, Kentucky's #1 midday news.
Welcome back. We've learned some new information about a death investigation in Garrett County.
The coroner has identified the victim as 31-year-old Bethany Floyd. He says the autopsy did not reveal how she died, so they're now waiting for toxicology results. Floyd was found dead inside a home on Price Court in Lancaster Saturday night. The coroner says she had bruises and cuts on her face, but those injuries were not the cause of her death. Lancaster police are calling Floyd's death suspicious.
While adults around the country might be voting tomorrow, students at a Lexington school cast their ballots today. Kindergarten through 5th grade students at Mill Creek Elementary are taking part in a mock presidential election. Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton, and Gary Johnson are all on the ballot. One teacher says she thinks the mock election is a great way to get students excited about their future responsibilities.
And so I want them to know how important it is to vote, for their parents to vote, and just to be a citizen and to be an active citizen in our community.
And no word yet on who has won that election at Mill Creek Elementary School, but we'll try to get you that answer.
Right, to wait for those results later today. And there's more coming up here on WKYT News at noon. We hope you'll stay with us.
The polls open at 6 tomorrow morning. What to expect when you get there? That's coming up at 12:30.
Well, weather-wise, expect kind of a chilly start to the day tomorrow, but as we go through your day, it actually looks pretty good. It's off into the evening and night. We start to see some big changes in the forecast, and that's just one of those big changes in your 7-day. And I have all that coming up next.
Now, your zone-by-zone forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
All right, one thing I really want to clear up real quick is we're getting calls here at WKYT saying, okay, people are calling in to the fire station saying homes are on fire somewhere because they see smoke all around the region. We've had multiple calls into the station. The houses are, well, I'm not going to say houses are not on fire, but around the region, this is smoke from the wildfires down towards south and southeastern Kentucky. The reason why we didn't deal with it yesterday, or really the past several days, is because the winds were out of the north and northwest. So that was just funneling it in to the areas down into Tennessee and off into portions of, say, even northern Georgia. But for us, it didn't really affect us because it was pushing it out of the state. But now these winds have switched over, and now they're coming in from the south and southeast, and that is grabbing that smoke and just funneling it northbound. So don't go crazy about it. Don't freak out about it, but just know that what you're seeing outside, that haze, is from the wildfires down in south and southeastern Kentucky. It's not feeling good either, and my chest is a little tight. Barb was just saying she had a migraine from it, and that's just what we're going to run into at least today and tomorrow because those winds are coming in from the south and southeast. That will change on Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. We'll actually get some rain during that time, too. Temperatures are there in the mid to upper 60s. We'll finish off roughly 70 degrees later on this afternoon. Pretty nice one in store, except for that smoke. You can smell it right as you step out the door. Election day forecast tomorrow morning, waking up, staying dry. Off through your day, I still expect it to be dry. I would say if there is a chance tomorrow of it actually reaching, rain that is, reaching the region, it would be far northwestern zones across 71 corridor. Your Carroll, your Trimble counties, those areas up toward the north and northeast, or northwest rather, that's where you could see maybe a shower or two right as the polls are closing at 6 p.m. Other than that, we're going to stay dry. Weather-wise, there's no excuse not to get out to those polls. Let's talk about your 7-day forecast. Roughly 70 degrees today. On your Tuesday, like I said, most of the rain comes during the evening and night and then funnels out Wednesday morning. Guys, Wednesday is going to be very cold. Upper 40s, lower 50s for highs. Not your lows. It's going to be a very chilly day. And we'll do it all over again this weekend with possible freeze there on Saturday and Sunday mornings.
And it's going to become more and more routine.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Here we are.
Had to get here.
That's right.
That summer stretched as long as it could. Thank you, Micah. We're back in a moment. What a night for the basketball Wildcats.
And for the basketball Cats, they're still in the hunt for an SEC Eastern Division title. That's on the football field. Dave Baker has sports next.
And checking stocks as we head into afternoon trading. Wow, what major gains we're seeing here at midday.
It was a super atmosphere and a great effort, but that still does little to take away the sting of a last-second loss to Georgia on Saturday night. But for Mark Stoops and company, right back at it, getting ready for a talented but inconsistent Tennessee team in Knoxville, with both the Cats and the Vols still fighting for an SEC Eastern Division championship.
We gave ourselves a great opportunity to win that game. Our coaches did a great job. It was the exact right recipe to win. Our players did the things necessary. We just got to keep that focus for 60 minutes and continue to put ourselves in positions like this in big games, and we will make those plays.
Boy, how about a little Wildcat basketball? And Kentucky had 60 points off fast breaks last night. Derek Willis throws it down. That score was 88-25 at the half. Second half, a dunk contest. Malik Monk driving through the defense and finishing high above the rim. And that may not have been the best dunk of the night. Here's another. This is another one from Monk. The reverse two-hander. The lead was up to 102, but the best game of the best dunk of the night, maybe one of the best ever in this program's history, senior Michael Mulder. And that Asbury defender probably wishes he didn't jump on that one. Oh my gosh. Take a look. Mulder, 20 points off the bench. Kentucky wins 156-63. The 156 is a new single-game UK record. The regular season starts on Friday.
We're practicing Tuesday, Wednesday, and we're really going to get after it because Thursday I got to back up because we play 3 games in 5 days, including travel. So there are things we got to get done, and I think they know it.
Boy, they know it, and did they look good. Much more from Coach Cal and from Mark Stoops a little bit later today. We'll see you back here at 6:30 on the WKYT News at 6:30 on the CW Lexington. But for now, guys, that's a look at sports on this Monday.
Okay, we'll see you then. Thank you, Buzz.
There's much more to come in our next half hour of WKYT News at noon.
We, of course, have all your pre-election day news right here, and we'll be on top of it over the next 48 hours.
Tomorrow's an important day.
We're looking ahead to Election Day tomorrow, and we're telling you everything you need to know as you head out to the polls.
Tomorrow night's Mega Millions jackpot is $54 million, and Wednesday night's Powerball jackpot is $236 million.